There really is nothing quite like getting ready to get out there and head on the water and enjoy yourself. All you can do is get things ready to go and hope you don't hit any snags along the way. Welcome back, guys, to this week's episode of Boneheaded Boaters of the Week. Speaking of hitting things, that's what we're going to talk about this week. I mean, it seems easy enough, right? Let's get in a boat and hit the water. Well, it's not always as easy as it sounds, and you do have to be a little cautious when you're doing this because, well, sometimes the water likes to hit back. But that's not always the case. Sometimes we'll find out things go smoothly. We'll get out there in the boat and be like, yeah, we're just ready for fun in the water, and we'll go ahead and take that leap and things will go off perfectly. And yet, other times, things just don't seem to go our way. And it feels like the hits might just keep coming, but even when things are going wrong out there on the water, all you can do is roll with the punches and try and make the best of it, and just remind yourself that you're out there to have a good time. I mean, boating is supposed to be fun, right? That's why we enjoy getting out there in the water, when there is water, of course.
Hey, Broncos viewer, this is for you, man. Look at this boat. This is on the side of a reservoir. It's really like a fairly permanent fixture down there.
It's not moving. But
yes, of course, lack of water is one of the things that can keep the hits coming on the water, and it can happen in many different ways, but one of the most common ways you'll experience will be this one right here, where you're not going to see a sandbar or something submerged below the vessel. If you ever do find yourself in this situation, these guys actually show you a good example of how to try and fix it. One of the easiest ways is to make your boat as skinny as possible, so it'll float in as little water as possible. As can be seen here, they took 6 crew members off this sailboat and moved them to another vessel. And that's going to help these guys as they're trying to pull this boat off the sandbar. Now the boat's a little bit lighter and requires a few less inches of water, and those few inches can be the difference between you and your buddies being able to get the boat pulled off, or versus having to call sea tow or somebody professional to help tow you off, or waiting for the tide to come up. One other thing to keep in mind, though, is towing should always be a last-ditch effort, especially if you're not a professional mariner. One of the things you got to keep in mind, the second you hook up to another vessel, you're responsible for that boat, so it should only be done if it absolutely must.
there we go.
Woo!
Yeah. Oh, that was sick.
One way to try and avoid some of the hits from low water is make sure to use caution, especially in areas you're not familiar with. Things can go wrong pretty quickly. This is Hillsborough Inlet, which is actually famous for this right here. In fact, it happened twice just last week.
Another one bites the dust.
And of course, hitting the sandbar can damage a lot more than just your ego. Sandbars can easily cause damage to props, motors, and the hull, and sometimes they can cause things to come loose, and you might not see the damage from that until later.
Motor came off. Are you kidding me?
So of course we've talked a little bit about hitting the water, we've talked a little bit about hitting the sandbar, but one of the most common things you'll probably see out on the water you're going to hit, well, that's going to likely be a dock or another boat. It's bound to happen. If you're out there on the water long enough, one time you're likely going to nudge up against somebody and maybe just cause a little scuff.
Get that ball. Get that ball. Go.
And one of the things that really stinks when damage will be caused to your vessel by somebody else, especially if you're not around, a lot of times you're not going to know what happened. You're just going to show up back at your boat one time, you're going to see your boats all scuffed and banged up and not exactly know what happened. So it's always a wise idea, if possible, to have cameras around your boat. Not even just to prevent people from trying to steal things, but if some damage does occur, you can at least try and figure out what went wrong. And then there's always one of our favorite boaters out on the water, and that is going to be the infamous boat renter. That's right, you're going to run into these guys as well. They're usually pretty obvious, but you kind of want to stay clear of them when you can.
I got to turn this one into this guy on a YouTube channel. And this is why we can't have nice things in a rental boat company.
Yeah. I can't
can't believe he made it through there.
Oh shit, he's stuck, is he?
No, he's making it.
Through, I don't
Yeah, but look,
know.
he's piling mud.
Yep,
He's showing mud behind him.
and he's sucking mud into the engine.
Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Boneheaded Boaters of the Week. If you ever see anything crazy happening out on your waterways, be sure to hit me up on Facebook or Instagram and let me know, and you might see your stories over here. Just like Ian March, BMC McMurr, Sleigh Wagoneer, Rental Boat Miami, Ryan Hunter, Jack House 22, Alex Conrad, Brian Richard Smith, Will Everlearn, Talk Golfing to Me, and David Klein did this week. And if you guys haven't already, go ahead and drop an anchor on the subscribe button here.